Hello, and welcome to Fanfic Hell, where we dive into the literary abyss of the internet. I am your host, AdamTheAltrox, and today we're going to read Who is Voldemort's Dad? The Tales of Vernon Dursley. Written by Dark Yagami, who you may recognize as the infamous author of The Adventures of Dark Yagami. But this is a two-chapter story she wrote about the Harry Potter series. Chapter 1. What the fuck? Find out more. Okay. Rate and review, please. I want some reviews. Please be nice, but if you're not, then please review still. Who is Voldemort's Dad? The Tales of Vernon Dursley and Some Magic. Author's note. I was having some trouble with the writing of my Death Note fanfics, so I wrote this instead. It is really good, I hope. If not, why are you reading it, lol? It was 7 o'clock, and not really, but Uncle Vernon's watch was all broken. He looked at it and said, "Fucking watch, it is broken again." He stepped out of the car and found himself, in the middle of a car park.
I'm glad you met me here when I sent you those anonymous letters,
said a mysterious voice coming mysteriously from the buses around the park. It was no problem.
That is good,
said the man as he jumped out of the bush. You're Voldemort! Said Vernon, jumping backwards and stepping on a cat which screamed quite loud and then ran away.
I am not just Voldemort, I am your son!
How can this be? He shouted. I only have 2 kids and they are Dudley and Harry. Then Voldemort grabbed his long wand which was under his cloak in his pants. What? Which was under his cloak in his pants. It was made of wood from the whomping willow tree, which made it super powerful. He pulled his wand and pointed it at Vernon, and a long shooty of white magic strings flew out the end and landed on some stuff.
I can do magic and so can Harry. Did you think it was a reason?
I did not think of that, Vernon confetti as he wiped off the sticky magics that were on everything.
But you are the most powerful wizard of them all! Like, even more power than Dumbledore and that dude with the turban thing put together! Vernon looked in his feelings and found that they were all true, even the ones that just a few short days ago would have seemed crazy to a tall, handsome, mustachioed man like himself. He toked out his wand and pointed at Voldemort, who was staring in amazement, and shouted, "Die, you pies of shit!" and "Abracadabra!" and a magical blast of stuff. Author's note. Does it shot anyway? No one knows, 'cause it's magic. Smiley face. Comes and hits Voldemort in the face. He exploded in a pile of ash, screeching, "I'll get you yet, Uncle Vernon!" Vernon looked down in shock at his wand, and the magic dripping from the end told a million stories like nothing ever could. He jumped over another car into his own car and slammed on the brakes and screamed out of the car park laughing like a maniac. Meanwhile, in Hogwarts, Dumbledore looked at the letter he was writing on his magic typewriter. It said some stuff about really complicated magics, and they were too hard for any muggles to understand, even like Einstein or Obama or that dude with the wheelchair. Suddenly, he looked up at his magic-o-meter, which was busy dancing over his desk like a man on fire, except it was not on fire. It was quite happy and singing to itself. "There is a disturbance in the force!" he yelled, jumping to his feet like he wasn't a beardy guy from like the Middle Ages or whatever. He jumped in his car, which was a 1961 Audi Quattro in bright red with some pink bits too, where magics had exploded. He had made it by magic so that it had like 1,000,000 horsepowers in the brakes and some rocket booster too. He zoomed away real fast and shot by some cops, but he was magic and their radar gun didn't work, even though they were magic cops with magic radar gun, cause he was just that good at magic. Okay. He overtakes the night bus, and the tall dude with the spots yelled, "Watch out, you fucking psycho!" and beeped at him, but Dumbledore had a honk if you're horny sticker, and he thought he was horny. He got to Vernon fast and shouted, "You will die!" he said, as he used his wand to conjoin up a double-barrel bazooka machine pistol, which was the most powerful gun ever, except a nuclear bomb, which he couldn't make because he didn't have any nuclears with him. That makes sense. He shooted it at Vernon and he exploded because he cast a spell with his gun, which blocked the barrel, and it went the wrong way even though he tried to stop it cause he failed. "No!" he shouted as he blew up and bits of bird splattered all over his car, which became Vernon's now because he had left the keys behind and Vernon could steal them and use them to go driving whenever he wanted, even the sea, because it was magic. "Now I will become the new headmaster of Hogwarts, and there will be a few changes around here, let me tell you. 4 days and like 15 hours or something later. Introducing your new head teachers, Vernon Dursley," shouted Snape into a microphone at the big dance. Vernon jumped on stage and grabbed the microphone and also a guitar and his wand. He started moshing out to chasing cars because he had been chasing cars early, LOL, and soon everyone was joining in and it was really good, and some peeps even started moshing on stage and security had to come in and pull them off. Harry was delighted that his dad had finally accepted him for what he was, a magical dude, and moshed harder than anyone even though his glasses fell off and smashed and someone jumped on them and a bird came and stole them away. Ginny walked over and started snogging, author's note, it's British for macking or Frenching, him real hard, like she'd never snogged before, which she didn't because she was a virgin, or at least almost one, because this one time she touched Ron, but they were cousins, so it didn't really count. Later they went up to the makeout point and did some sex in Vernon's old car. Classy. 10 years later, author's note. This happens instead of that stupid bit at the end of the Deadly Hallows. Vernon was angry at Harry for getting Ginny all teen pregnant and stuff, but then he looked at the cute baby in his hand and his heart melted and became out his mouth. What? In the form of a smile and also drool. This is a happy day for everyone in the Dudley family and the Weasley family and the Potter family, he yelled at everyone at the party. "Can you sing for old time's sake?" yelled Arthur, who was keeping it real on the dance floor. So Vernon got on stage and sung a song that had made the baby, and everyone was happy except Ron, who was a bit jealous, but also happy. "If I lay here, would you lie with me and just forget the world?" he sang. Outside the gig, "We're back and we've joined forces and stronger than ever," said Voldemort and Dumbledore at the same time. "Oh no! What will happen next? Probably nothing, cause this is a one-off. LOL. Well, I'm sorry to say this wasn't a one-shot. Chapter 2. Some magical happenings happens. "Not so fast, Sir Vernon of Dursley!" shouted Dumbledore as he jumped through the door with his double-barreled wand, which was like two wands stuck together with magic tape. Vernon put down his drink and spat it all over the people dancing in front of them in shock, but he was metal that they didn't care. "What are you, you crazy bastards?" swallowed Vernon, pointing his guitar, which had a wand built into the long pointy bit. Every string on the guitar was a dragon heartstring, which made the wand like sewer-powered, and he accidentally blew the cloths of Tonks because it was so strong. "I am your father!" Vernon slapped his knees crying and cried, "How can this be?" Just then, Voldemort smashed through the window bit in the ceiling of the gig with a parachute and shouted, "Don't forget me about me, your son, Voldemort Riddle!" "No! How did you live by blast of abracadabra?" "I used magic!" Vernon was too shocked for words, and Dumbledore took this opportunity and shot twice, once in each heart. "No!" screamed Tonks, who was naked and extremely sexy. "What? But I killed you!" screamed Dumbledore as Vernon came back to live, this time with a vengeance like Die Hard. "Then you didn't kill me hard enough!" And he blasted a rocket spell at Dumbledore, who blasted off like Team Rocket, never to be seen again except by aliens on the distant planet Repats. "Good job, Dad!" said Voldemort, taking of his evil robes. "I know everything has gone exactly as planned." Underneath Voldemort's robes was a very sexy man with muscles like twice as big as a dumpster. Twice as big as a dumpster! And eyes that lit up the room with gold. "Oh, you're so sexy," said Tonks, who still naked. "You too," Voldemort replied. Then they sexed for a long time on the floor, and everyone cheered except when Voldemort fell on a piece of glass that had fallen from the roof when he parachuted in. "Ah! How could this be? I only wanted to use my sexy powers for good!" He screamed as he died, and blood came all over Tonks on the floor, and she screamed. Then he didn't die, but jumped up and pulled out a glass and went back sexing, only this time twice as fast. "Boy, this is sexy," said Harry. It wasn't long before everyone was sexing, and the cops had to come and arrest everyone, but Vernon put a sexing spell on them, and they started sexing too. "Tomorrow? No, I am head teacher," he bellowed. "I will not take no crap from no one!" Umbridge walked out crying and kissing a picture of a cat. "What just happened? I don't know, but I might write it one day. Keep reviewing and more chapters, please! Voldemorts." Well, that was... I gotta say, that was actually pretty epic. Parts of that were pretty epic, even though it was completely stupid. You know, I mean, I kinda liked it. In a stupid, canon-breaking sort of way, you know? It was all good. Well, that's all we have for today. Tune in next time for something else.